I've got another good one on tap for you again today. It's the third time Dave Mustaine has been on the Radio Chatter podcast, and it just keeps getting better and better. Today we talk about the Scorpions tour that's coming up in the fall, as well as his award-winning wine. NHL hockey, of course, being in Nashville, he was all about that when the Predators made the Stanley Cup Finals. We talk about new Megadeth and when they might hop back in the studio, as well as a question that had Dave kind of stumped, maybe put on the spot. All that and more today on Radio Chatter.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff.
This is Radio Chatter with WRIF's own Meltdown.
Thank you guys so much for checking out the Radio Chatter podcast. And like I said in the intro, man, legendary frontman Dave Mustaine really gave us a great conversation today. The Scorpions tour is coming up. The NHL playoffs just wrapped up in Nashville. I mean, he's doing stuff with iced tea, his beer, his wine. I mean, all sorts of stuff going on as far as Megadeth is concerned. And Dystopia's been out since January of 2016. It's a killer record. I was just listening to it again today. Really good stuff from Megadeth. And it's a year and a half old now. And I asked Dave about, possible new Megadeth stuff. So he talks about that coming up as well today. So in the meantime, we were connected via one of these three-way calls. And, man, the connection sounded great. And it was really cool to get on the phone once again and talk with Dave Mustaine. By the way, if you're anywhere near the Southeast Michigan area, he's playing the Coliseum at Caesars Windsor with Megadeth on July 5th. So there you go. Celebrate your 4th of July week with a stop across the border. Or if you're listening to this in Canada, with a stop right there at Caesars Windsor on July 5th. In the meantime, we were connected with Dave Mustaine, asked him how things were going, and away we went.
It's good. It's very good.
Yeah. What did you guys play Philadelphia last night?
Yeah, we did. We played the Fillmore. I was just there a couple months ago for the Decibel Beer Fest thing that they had. It's pretty fun, too. Yeah,
your beer's taken off. You won some awards with your own wine and everything, huh?
Yeah, go figure.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I see that you're going to...
It's amazing.
Yeah, you're going to be at the Open Air Fest I saw in Chicago playing, and of course, they'll be selling your beer there, too?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think I saw something about that online.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I sure hope so. That's a great place to be selling it.
Yeah, no question about that. But tell everybody about your wine. What you had two wines that won, right?
We had one that won 3 awards already, and it's not even a year old. It's the newest one we released is a Tempranillo Rosé, which is a fancy word that I don't know in Spanish, but I do know the rosé part.
All right.
And it is called She-Wolf Rosé, and because we're naming the different lines after songs and stuff.
Right.
And so it was at this competition, and it won a gold, which is great, and then it won a platinum, which is amazing, and then it won a double gold, which is even better than a platinum, because that means that it was unanimously first place by all 7 judges.
Wow.
Yeah. Pretty kick-ass, and to think my first experience with rosé came in a box.
Now, do you go to these competitions yourself personally?
No, not yet. This is all still really new with our family and for me. So I'm trying not to act like I've been doing this my whole life. There's nothing worse than somebody who knows nothing talking about like they know everything. So I'm along for the ride, and I'm learning, and I'm enjoying it. I think it's great. Boy, I'll tell you what, I had never had any idea how first off complicated the process is of brewing and of bottling beer and wine. Or the restrictions or the drama behind the scenes, because there's almost like a network behind the scenes where you have a glass ceiling and in order to break that glass ceiling, you've really got to make waves. So, we've started making waves, and what do you expect from a beer called Megadeth? We're going to make waves.
I'll tell you what, man. I haven't tried the wine yet, but I love the beer, man. It's really good. It's a little heavy. I'm not really a beer drinker myself. It's a heavy beer, but I love the way it tastes. And of course, I can't have 8 of them, but I'll have one here and there. I send my wife out to get it periodically, but really cool stuff. I don't know if you celebrated a little bit with some beers, but man, it was a pretty exciting time in Nashville, huh?
It has been, and actually the beer saison, which is I guess because you don't drink a lot, this would register as heavy to you, but it's actually lower in alcohol content. It's only 4.5 because we wanted our fans to be refreshed and to enjoy the beer and not go like, this tastes like crap, but I'm inebriated. So I guess. The question about how it was in Nashville with the hockey, the Stanley Cup and everything that was going on, boy, that was amazing. And to see all the celebrities coming out there and supporting the team, I love going because I love hockey.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes I do question, some of the people that show up only at the Stanley Cup or at the, Wimbledon finals or, at the Super Bowl and the World Series. It's like you're there for the celebration, but you're not really a fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're there to be seen. Sure. Well, I was thinking about you as I was watching the games because I'm like, man, Dave's got to be so fired up with this being right there in his backyard. And that town just came alive. And I'll tell you what, I bet you can't imagine how many Nashville Predator fans you had around the country because I think everybody wanted to see Pittsburgh lose outside of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, well, there's that. Also, anybody that's ever been to a Predators game and has been inside of the building or had any experience with the organization through their community outreach, they are just, to me, the most amazing sports franchise because, I lived in Phoenix and did some minuscule work with the Coyotes with their music program a long time ago. And they were great when they first came, but I always referred the Coyotes back to what I experienced at the Predators because I had said, the Preds, they're this and they're that, and the guys at the Coyotes probably ended up hating me talking about them after a while. But it's true. I love it. It's the funnest hockey game you'll ever go to.
Yeah, we could talk hockey all day long. One final thing here about that. You see, I just thought about this. I guess Shane Doan, they're not going to re-sign him. Did you become friends with him in Phoenix at all? Did you know him?
I didn't know Donor. We were acquaintances. He knew who I was. I knew who he was. He was a really good man, son of a pastor. So, to see one of those PKs out there, pastors' kids going out there and playing hockey and beating the hell out of people is like, come on, deliver the right hand of vengeance. So, that's a bummer he's not playing. But, everybody has their season. Fortunately, with music, I guess people judge you by your appearance and your ability to play. In sports, it's not so much on your ability to play. Your appearance, it's on your ability to play.
Right, exactly. Well, he's been there a long time.
Less forgiving when you're an entertainer. So,
yeah.
Look what they did to Carrie Fisher. My God, that was really harsh.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah. By the way, thanks for clearing up the PK thing, because I didn't know what PK Subban stood for, but that's Preacher Kid Subban, is that right?
No.
I don't know. His name's something French, I think. But, hey, last time I talked to you was right before the boot camp, so that's done in the books. Did you have a good time doing that? I saw the pictures and some of the videos and stuff like that.
A blast. Yeah, we're going to do it again. It's a really private, intimate thing for us to do with our fans. And, Megadeth has never really been one of those bands that we're trying to have world domination, although we talk about it and kid around about it. We know in the scope of things, we're not going to be one of those stadium bands. Unless things keep on the trajectory that they're on right now, which is really great. But we're pretty happy with where we're at, and I guess when you put all that together, that all the other stuff that goes along with it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
because there's been some hard stuff that's gone on with this tour. we had a little flare up in Kuala Lumpur. I'm not sure if you heard about that.
Yeah, vaguely. Tell me about that. What happened there?
Yeah. Well, we went down there, and it was amazing. The concert was great. The people were great, but there was one incident where I got a text message from my buddy David Draymond from Disturbed,
right?
And he said, "Be careful," and I was like, huh? Because David and I are really close because of we did a song on a record called "Dance in the Rain," and I had always thought he was a great entertainer before then. So getting a text out of the blue like that kind of made me look into it, and I guess there was a youth group there, and the guy had supposedly said he was going to be protesting our show. And in that area down there, there's not a lot of people who understand thrash metal, understand our political leanings in our songs and stuff like that, and could think that we're a threat to their people or their government. I remember when we played in China, they only let us play 8 songs the first concert we did there, until they got to know us.
Right.
As people get to know us, then they want to spend time closer with us. So to close the circle on your question about the boot camp, we make it so that it's an experience that people get to, sit down and ask us about stuff like this. When we're eating dinner, we split up at all the different tables and we tell them, hey, this is what happened when I went into El Salvador and I got a yellow fever inoculation and I thought I was going to die. And all these private little teeny stories that people don't know anything about. So we're thinking about doing that again, and we're going to do it. We were talking about doing an Oktoberfest kind of thing, but it's a little bit in advance still. It was a great success. You should come next time.
Yeah, it was right around my birthday, and I told you that I just couldn't make it out there, but that was really kick-ass. Last time I talked to you, too, it was kind of funny because we talked about the boot camp and about the record and all this kind of stuff. And then right at the very end, you go, oh, hey, by the way, we're going to be touring with the band that we've never toured with before. And that got picked up by a lot of media outlets. And then it was revealed that you're going to be touring with the Scorpions this coming winter.
Yeah, that's going to be cool, huh?
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. So, I mean, that was my first thought when you said you might try to do something Oktoberfest-ish. When would this tour start?
Well, the Scorpion tour has already been announced, and it's in September. I'll answer your next question, and I'll look while I'm answering your question, and I'll tell you the exact date.
Because I know while you're doing that, you're playing the Coliseum in Caesars Windsor on July 5th, and that's going to be awesome.
This tour.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? This tour's been really fun. It's Meshuggah are amazing, and Tesseract is a progressive metal band. So there's going to be people who are going to be there strictly for the thrash, and they may not like what they're seeing, but I think they're great. We've always taken out bands that people don't know, and I think it's cool because they break a lot of them. It happened with Korn, it happened with Stone Temple Pilots, it happened with White Zombie, with Pantera. There's so many bands that we had the fun of going out on tour with, and they were brand new, and then look at them now, they're all massive.
Yeah, did you mention Alice in Chains? Yeah, because that Clash of the Titans tour, I'll never forget.
Yeah, that was on the Clash of the Titans too. Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. But I
can't really take credit for that so much because it was all 3 bands that
what
Alice in Chains. Although they did break on that tour, that was amazing. They had that song "Wood," I guess, was the one that clicked for them.
Yeah, what a great. I've talked to Jerry Cantrell about that before, and he said that's where they earned their bones on that tour. Yeah. So, hey, I'll be talking with Ice-T coming up here. I heard your opening intro there on his song, and you've known him for a lot of years. Have you ever worked with him before?
Well, there's the intro tape that we used for years and years and years. That
right.
Had, his "Shut Up, Be Happy" thing.
Right.
So
yeah, I'm going to be talking to him coming up here. I guess he's out promoting his new record and stuff. Hey, you know, I was at my buddy's house last night. We were having a few cocktails and whatnot, and I told him I was talking to you, and he says, you know, Rolling Stone is doing this thing about your 10 favorite metal albums and stuff. You've probably heard this question before, but if you could name some of your favorite, you don't have to name 10, but what are some of your favorite metal albums of all time?
You know, that you kind of caught me on put me on the spot here. My favorite of all time. I can't say that there's a favorite of all time because it's very flexible and it changes from, you know, time to time. There's the ones that are like my go-to ones.
Sure.
You know, I basically like listening to, you know, best of records because they have all the hits from a band and stuff like that. But you know, there's like the first couple Merciful Fate records, the Lightning to the Nation record from Diamond Head, Sad Wings of Destiny from Judas Priest. That's the one I cut my teeth on with those guys. And you know, there's a lot of other stuff that you know I like that are not really metal though. You know, of course, classic Motorhead stuff and Maiden stuff, but I'm answering your question very poorly. I'm sorry.
Well, you know, I tweeted you about a month ago because I bought Rust in Peace.
When the September
oh, okay, yeah, go ahead.
September tour starts on September 14th in Reading, Pennsylvania.
All right, so, and that's going to go for throughout the wintertime or just a couple months or what?
No, I think it's just a month.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's only a month.
Well, I tweeted you about a month ago, and I bought the Rust in Peace album because that's one of my favorite metal albums, and I bought it on vinyl. And this happens quite a bit. Sometimes I'll tweet out something, and you're really great about retweeting stuff, and I look at it, and I spelled something wrong. So but, man, that record sounds so friggin' good on vinyl, and I've been working out to it and stuff. Man, it's great.
Thanks. You know, whenever I have a typo, I just kind of say I did that on purpose.
Man,
no, it's an abbreviation. You don't know what Glimmerlick means?
Like, what was the one a few weeks ago? Trump, the confave or whatever it is. You saw that one, right? You meant to put conference. And it made a big.
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, it made a big splash around Twitter. Yeah, everyone went crazy about that. So, hey, anyways, go ahead, Deb. I'm sorry.
I was just going to tell you, there's a radio friend of mine who does a talk show that Pam and I went and stayed at his house, and I borrowed his truck. And we getting ready to go back home to California, and I went and got his truck washed. And so I sent him a text, and you know, he and his wife were going through problems at the time, and they're divorced now. So I don't know how much this had to play in it, but I sent him back the text message, and it said, "Your trick is ready."
Yeah. Did you voice text it, or did you press it with your fingers?
I sent it. I didn't look at it. You know.
Oh, okay.
I voiced it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like when I voice texted my one neighbor, and she said, "Are you coming over for drinks?" And I said I could use a drink or six, and it came out a drink or sex, and you know. Things.
Oh boy! Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. What'd she say?
She said, "I think you meant six, right?" So anyhow,
Meltdown.
Well, listen, God. Dystopia is a year and a half old now. You got the tour coming up with the Scorpions. You got your beer, your wine out, all this kind of stuff. When can we look for some new Megadeth? Is that even on the radar yet, or you guys haven't even sat down and talked about that, or anything going on?
I will actually tell you first. We did start talking about scheduling the next record last night. So we're looking at November, December of this year, starting to get back together, find a place to start demoing up songs. And of course, we have so many songs archived, and it's not really a matter of having to go in there and beat your head and trying to come up with stuff. It's, you know, listening to the 200 ideas that are there and you know, picking some stuff out of there and seeing what it inspires. Because, you know, much like with my friends in Stone Temple Pilots, you know, Robert, the bass player, there was a story where it said that, you know, his gift was the connecting parts. You know, everybody would write really good stuff, and he would connect them. Mm-hmm. You know, and I think that's what's really vital with a good song. You have to have somebody who's knowledgeable to connect the dots. You know.
So is this normal for Megadeth, where you have a ton of riffs and ideas and stuff? You kind of put them aside when you revisit the studio, then you go back and listen to all this stuff.
since the very, very first record. We had so many riffs that we were putting together. Yeah, I had songs when I went in to do the first record that ended up on the third record. There was Set the World Afire, Rest in Peace, Hangar 18. Those songs, those were already written. I did those in Panic before Metallica.
Wow. That's cool. So do you have some riffs in there that might be 20 years old? Some ideas?
Could be 35 years old.
Wow.
Could be stuff back like a la Metal Militia, Phantom Lord, the early stuff I did, Rest in Peace, Polaris. Those were all from the same generation of my songwriting back then. Set the World Afire, that was part of that whole era too. And it's just, for me, it's not like I have to go, oh my God, I lost the mojo, what am I going to do? I just have to hear it again, because I have this really innate ability to kind of transcend where I'm at mentally. When I'm playing music, I can kind of go to a place where I can just absorb what I'm hearing, and it just takes me away to a really great heavy thrash place,
Yeah. What about with
really neat thing.
What about with Kiko or Dave? They bring some ideas when you guys are in the studio too?
Yeah, everybody does. Everybody has great ideas. The problem is there's so many great ideas. So for me, I learned a long time ago, instead of putting our friendship on the line and cause any problems between them and myself, that when they submit songs and stuff, they just submit it to management and the label, and then if they like it, because it would suck, wouldn't it, if they had a great song and I heard it and I was busy during the day, or I had something going on that was some kind of hectic bullshit, and they played this great song for me and I didn't hear it, and it was gone forever. That would suck, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I hear you there. So,
yeah.
Well, cool, man. Well, we'll look forward to that. Of course, the Coliseum Caesars Windsor on July 5th. We'll send everybody across the border. Have fun over there in Windsor. I was over there over the weekend for the Bob Probert motorcycle ride. You remember him, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, his wife, Danny, they have the memorial run every year from, this was the 7th one, and we had like 1,400 bikes or something like that, so it was really cool and for a great cause.
That's cool.
Yeah, for the
really cool.
for the cardiac care over there with, of course, Bob passed away due to heart failure, so. But anyways, we'll send everybody over there. And Dave, it's always a privilege and a pleasure to talk to you. It's always a great insight on your part, and we appreciate the time.
Thanks. I'm going to send you a bottle of that rosé.
Dude, that'd be awesome. I'd appreciate that. That'd be great.
You got it.
Dave Mustaine, legendary frontman from Megadeth. I could talk to him all day long. And I'll tell you what, some really good stuff. If you're anywhere in the Windsor area on July 5th, the Coliseum is really going to be playing over there at Caesars Windsor. And I may hop on my Harley Davidson and head over there myself and check that out. I do have a few things going on that night, but it's always great to see Megadeth in concert. Hey, I'll tell you what, I've talked to him a few other times. Like I said before, I'll link those up in the story so you guys can check those out at your leisure. Coming up, as far as interviews, I've already got one in the can that's a little bit off the beaten path. I don't want to give out too much, but let's just say this. It's the first time I've interviewed someone of this ilk. They'll say someone from this genre, and it's music, of course, but I've never talked to someone from this area before, and I had a killer conversation with this guy. And let's just say this: you will see him if you hit up any of these major concert events this year. He's on a major tour that's hitting up stadiums. Okay, so I'll just leave it at that. In the meantime, subscribe. Tweet this out and share it with your buddies. And as always, thank you guys so much for checking out Radio Chatter. Until we do it next time.